So today, as of filming this video, this is Tuesday night. They've announced Sun and Moon 4 Plus, and they're calling it GX Battle Boost. GX Battle Boost. Now, for those of you who haven't been following the TCG, and especially have not been following this channel for your Japanese needs for a while, this might come as a little bit of a surprise to you because GX Battle Boost, as a name, holds its roots in something very important, especially to me. It's important to a lot of Japanese collectors. So if you started with just English and you haven't seen a lot of the older stuff, I guess you'd call it older stuff when really it was on the tail end of Black and White. So was that 2013 probably this came out? July 2013. There was a set called EX Battle Boost. EX Battle Boost. It came out, it had like 93 cards in it, plus it had some Imakuni or goofy, like, what were they called? There were these funny trainers that had to do with like a TV show. They came out and they were, you know, all weird and stuff. And they had Golden Reshiram, Golden Zekrom, and now you know what the set was. It was, you know, Legendary Treasures. You know, when you say Golden Reshiram and Zekrom, obviously it rings a bell with a lot of people. And Legendary Treasures was very popular in English for, you know, its own reasons, or pull rates and such. But for me, EX Battle Boost was doubly important as a set. It was, first of all, it was a fantastic set. It was, you know, it included great, you know, varieties of Pokemon with wonderful, wonderful, top the F-notch artwork. You know, they changed artwork for a ton of these cards, and they did really creative stuff like telling stories with like the Emboar line and the Charmander line. You would see, you know, cards basically interacting with other cards in the set, and it's not something we'd experienced before. The cards that they chose to print were exciting, and they had, I don't know, they really ran the gamut. The EXs themselves, they were reprints, but you would get 5 in a booster box, and this is back when they were 20 packs in a booster box, so that was kind of amazing to get an EX every 4 packs. And the set wasn't all holofoil like this new one's going to be, but it felt pure and real, and even though it was like a reprint set, it was the best possible reprint set. And now we have a set that, at least in name, is attempting to emulate that. But maybe they're trying to take from a set like a Premium Champion or a Best of X and Y, and they're going to do a GX in every pack. So I want to talk to you about some of the things that I may be nervous about when it comes to a set like this, and some of the things that I'm excited for. So as I said to somebody earlier today on Twitter, I am cautiously optimistic. And I even mentioned in that tweet that I sent out that I don't wear an emotion like that very well. I don't like being cautiously optimistic because I think it sets myself up for failure without allowing me to get super excited about something. It's kind of the worst of both worlds. But what we've learned about Sun and Moon 4 Plus so far is that it's coming out October 20th. The set's going to be 114 cards. They're all holofoil. There are 7 cards per booster pack, and every booster pack has a GX inside. So let's point out some of the good things and some of the bad things about that. So good things right off the bat, they're trying to do something different with the Plus sets. They're trying to achieve something with the Plus sets. And so far, I can't think of any of the Plus sets. 1, 2, and certainly not 3, which is coming up and looks like it's going to be a change, but maybe isn't going to be a huge change. I mean, because they have the Shining cards and stuff, but who knows what they're doing with Rarity with that, so I'll withhold judgment so far. But they're putting a GX in every pack. And that's kind of exciting. Because there's been so much hubbub about, you know, what's happening with the Plus sets and how uncollectible 1 and 2 were, And you just end up, well, I personally ended up with a lot of duplicates, and it's nice that they seem to kind of want to buck that trend. A 114 card set sounds awesome. It sounds awesome. It's great to get something different. And a 7 card booster pack as well is really different. When's the last time the Japanese TCG had a 7 card booster pack? Was it Lost Link, which opened not that long ago on the channel? It might have been. And obviously there are additional opportunities too. Maybe they try to mess with some artwork. Maybe they try something different. If every card is holofoil, like how are they going to treat that? I don't know, there's so many things that they can do with that. But there's also a host of problems or potential problems with a set like this. So if they're just reprinting the same cards and making them all mirror foil, does it really matter all that much if the set is much bigger? I don't know. I'm a little on the fence on that. I mean, 114 cards sounds awesome, and it gives like justification for collection, as well as I start to sell off, you know, common and uncommon complete sets, it ensures that I'm going to have a lot less bulk just sitting around. But I don't know how much value something like that will command, or how exciting it will be to collect if it's just going to be the same artwork. And as well, there are additional unknowns. I mean, yeah, we know that there are 7 cards in a booster pack, but how many packs are there going to be in a box? Is it going to be 20, 10, 15? What's the price point for something like this? Are they going to be $50 booster boxes like Best of X and Y was supposed to be? And if so, how many packs do we get in a box? Because if you have, let's say, for instance, if you have a set like the Best of X and Y, which was an absolute home run. If you have a set like Best of X and Y, where you have 15 cards in a pack and 10 packs in a box, this is a very, very well done reprint set. They incorporated so many great things in there. And who cares that all the cards aren't holofoil? It really doesn't matter, because they nailed so many other aspects of it. I mean, you got these 3 trainers, you get the mirror foil card, you would get former holos, you would get a GX. Every pack had so much going for it. And here, we don't know if that's going to be the case. It's way too early. October is so far away. It's so far away. And there's a lot of information yet to be revealed, and I'm sure not all of it will be revealed even by the time pre-orders on AmiAmi are due, if you want to get the set shipped to you right away. I mean, like I said, cautiously optimistic, but if every card is just a regular mirror foil and they don't change up any of the artwork, all we're really getting is a bigger set. Now, there is one positive thing that I think is really important to note, is that the GXs themselves, at least by and large, are not going to be this reprint fest. It's not going to be, oh, well, you know how Decidueye and Incineroar and Primarina just came out? We're going to reprint those again. Sun and Moon 1 was awful with this. Sun and Moon 2 got a little better, but even so, I mean, it still had a lot of room to improve, and maybe that happens here, especially with American collectors, English collectors, I should say, sorry, getting new artwork for a lot of GXs that Japanese collectors have not had the opportunity to see. So assuming that a lot of those are going to be coming from a source like that, that's pretty exciting for me. That's pretty exciting. And I mean, there are a lot of options that they can go with too. Because if they're doing, you know, mirror foil cards, do they reprint some of them, all of them, none of them? Where are they going to pull their reprints from? Are they going to take playable cards, so the cards have value to Japanese collectors? If a set like that does well, do they keep printing things like that? Is there really a benefit for that? I'm not really sure. Because on the one hand, you obviously, as a TCG collector, you want to print you want to, have something that's printing money for you. You want to have something that's valuable both as a collector and in the TCG in general. You want something that's going to have a lasting effect for you. But on the other hand, you don't want to encourage them to make bloated sets just for the sake of printing things. You don't want to put yourself in that position to support that kind of, I guess you'd call it behavior. I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe if you call it behavior, but that economic strategy. Because you know that now that they're printing so much more stuff for the TCG, it is a very, very slippery slope. If we're getting sets every 6 weeks and we're still buying them and they're not seeing any sort of reduction in anything, I mean, do you continue to collect? Do you try to be a completionist, or do you just get the things you want? And if you just get the things you want, where do you draw the line? And when you have cards like, you know, this freaking $80 card that I just pulled and haven't referenced at all, when you have cards like that, that are in sets that are so hard to pull, you know, at what point do you say, yeah, this is something I could put my, you know, my hard-earned money towards? And at what point do you say, you know what, it's not worth it to me anymore? And with a set like Sun and Moon 4 Plus, I think we can see a lot of where these trends will go, even if it is a standalone set. And maybe it does serve as a standalone set, and maybe it's not replicated for a year, maybe 2, but the fact remains that EX Battle Boost came out at the tail end of the Black and White series, and we've had only 3 main releases so far in Sun and Moon, and they're already talking about a Sun and Moon 4 Plus to get people extra GXs. So obviously there's still a lot to figure out with a release like GX Battle Boost. I do like some of the things that they've talked about, but knowing that this is all very preliminary and the set's not even going to come out for another almost 4 months. And of course we have a lot more stuff to go through first. Like, I still haven't finished Sun and Moon 3, which is kind of exciting to me. We have Sun and Moon 3 Plus hitting in July. And then in September we have Sun and Moon 4. But then you're going to have this GX Bonanza that hits. And I'm not really sure where that's going to leave us. All I do know is that if they can emulate at least a fraction of the success of EX Battle Boost and do it not just in spirit but in action, and really do something for collectors to make it worth their while, maybe it's going to be a set that surprises people like the Best of X and Y did. And even if it's not, it can still be a step in the right direction, and I think we can all get behind that.